I used to do live videos, man, on for YouTube for the Minority Report.
Yo, that little ring thing ain't working.
What up, everybody? It's your girl, Melissa. Woo woo! Y'all, it is Friday, and let me tell you, it is nice outside. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I don't know about you, but I've already checked out into the weekend, and I'm excited. So thank y'all for tuning in. You know, if you are on the live right now, go ahead and hit that like button, that share button, that follow button, tag your friends, bring them on, because it is about to be juicy today, y'all.
My God.
I'm just telling y'all, it's juicy. And so, with that being said, today I have a cup of Joe with Dre, everybody. Boo boo. So, fellas, tell us about yourself for our guests, our viewers who are new to you, who might not know you. And so, let them know a little bit about you.
Joe, go ahead, man. Well, a little bit about me.
Here we go. See, well, Dre was like a former model, and he found me on the side of the road, and he just wanted to give me a chance. No. But no, we were just two guys. I mean, we've been friends since we were like 13, and you know, we reconnected, and I had an idea. To do a podcast about us sharing our life and our examples. And Dre already had like a podcast going. We connected, and it's been fantastic, bigger than we've ever thought it would ever grow to. And we've had a lot of fun. We've grown as men just developing this podcast, and hopefully we can share our information with others.
That's amazing. Okay. Go ahead. I was saying that's amazing.
No, so yes, my name is Dre. The other half of Cup of Joe with Dre. A hit up and coming podcast, like Joe said. I mean, we've known each other since 91, 92. We linked up during the pandemic. It was, you know, locked in the house, and we decided to, you know, kick this off. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm a life coach. I'm a image consultant, podcaster. That's my favorite title. We're just here to help people. We're a podcast for the people. So here we are.
That's awesome. So you guys found each other in the pandemic. How did that go? Did you send notes across the way? You know, did you get your drone and send it to the next house down?
No, that's my guy, man. We family. We just linked up in person. You know, it's like we out here.
And so, A Cup of Joe with Dre, where can they find that at? What platforms are you guys on, and where can they check you out?
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I'm glad that you asked that. You know, you can find us on Amazon. We're on Anchor. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We have a Facebook page, Cup of Joe with Dre. We also have an Instagram page, Cup of Joe with Dre, spelled just like it sounds. You can connect with us there, send us messages. We're very available on all those platforms.
And then I know you're on Spotify. For those of you that listen to Spotify a lot, they're on Spotify. You could go back and check out all their episodes. And so, you know, and I don't know if there's video on there with the model Dre, you know, like they said, Dre's the model here, so.
I couldn't have said it any better.
So you might have to request that, you know, and, you know, speaking of the models, right, of pictures, we're talking about relationships today, ladies, and, you know, we're just going to, and gentlemen, we're just going to jump right in, right? So, gentlemen, why is it that guys are always asking for photos? Why are they always asking for pics? Come on, let's hear it.
Well, men are visual creatures, so we ask for photos because we're visual creatures. We like to see what you look like, and then especially if you're coming off of dating on a dating app. It's just further confirmation to see what you look like, because there's a lot of females out there that catfishing, and as me and Joe like to say, fried catfishing.
Oh, what is a fried catfishing? Come on.
That's when they look completely different. Like there's no resemblance from the picture to who they are in real life. Sometimes you can see the person in the person, but when you fried catfish, it's like, yo, nah, it's a whole nother level of catfishing. It might even be a cousin or a coworker that so yeah. So that's why guys. I mean, that's why I believe men ask for pictures even after already meeting the person. Like I said, we're visual, so we like to look at who we're talking to. So.
All right, and you, Joe?
I mean, he summed it up best. Nobody wants to be fried catfish. You know, it's just like, what is it? Women don't want to be hatfished. That's where the guys be wearing hats and really they don't have no hair, they bald or whatever. But yeah, you know.
I'm learning all new stuff today, y'all. Hatfish, fried fish, or fried catfish. I don't know. I thought it was good with shrimp. Throw it in the pan.
Yeah, crazy.
All right, so guys, if you have, a lot of you are also following A Cup of Joe with Dre, and Dre has been here before, with Minority Report, so some of you might recognize him. And they did a questionnaire last week, right? And they asked the ladies, what question would you want to ask a man? It could be anything. And we turned it around this week and we asked the fellows if you could ask a lady any questions. And so we have some questions for both sides. And so, guys, I want to hear your thoughts on this. You could chime in on this, what you think, right? Okay, so some of the questions, and ladies, if you're on here,
number 2, match number 1.
if you are on
number 2, match number 1.
Okay, ladies, if you are on here, you can put it in the comments because we can see everything in the live comments. You can also text the phone number, which is listed above. It is 720-386-0513. Again, you can always call or text in the line, and the number is 720-386-0513. All right, so here are some of the questions, right? All right, we're going to start off. Oh, they're all like good questions, but this is a general question to women and men, right? Who do you think is more loyal, women or men?
That's a loaded question. I mean, that's perspective. Women think men are not loyal because they cheat. Men don't cheat because they're not loyal. Men cheat usually because either they want a new experience or they're having a moment. It doesn't have anything to do with loyalty. A man can cheat with a woman and come right back to her and never want to be.
But don't you kind of lose the loyalty?
Yeah, of course. But there's no way to gauge who is. If you're just speaking in general, men or women, and outside of a relationship, then I would have to say men are more loyal, man. I mean,
okay, come on, King, tell us why.
I'm gonna tell you why, though. Like, you know this is true, man. Like, women, man, y'all have too much animosity towards one another as women. Like me and my homies, we loyal. We've been here me and Joe. We've been rocking since '91. No, like y'all let another homegirl, another man, a man, or anything come between y'all's loyalty amongst each other, and y'all start backstabbing each other and all that good stuff. So, if we're just talking gender, men versus women, who's more loyal? I would have to say men. Men are more loyal.
He's about to get some hate mail.
Y'all know it's true.
They typing right now.
Most females I know, their closest friends are men. So, and most men I know, their closest friends are men as well. So there you go.
Okay. Okay, Joe, what do you got?
I mean, when you say it makes a lot of sense. Again, it's perspective. I mean, when people are loyal, you know what I mean? Everybody has a point of loyal and not loyalty, but, you know, everybody's loyal. I mean, if you want me to just make the politically correct, yes, women are the loyalists.
No, we want to hear the true nitty gritty. Tell us what you think, loyal.
But look, I don't know. The more we do this podcast, I'm starting to find out women as loyal as I thought they were.
Oh, okay. Why is that? Why do you think women are not as loyal as you thought they were?
Because I'm finding out how sneaky women are and how good they are at these little, I won't even call them lies, we'll call them secrets. Okay. How good they are with their secrets and how good their friends are with their secrets about women cheating.
Oh, okay. You don't think that men are like that, though?
Oh, no. That's why men get caught. What do you think men men are not good. We're not good liars.
Keeping secrets and deceit and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm.
So today we found out, ladies, men are not good liars, but we are. All right, check.
But y'all already knew it. But y'all already knew it.
But listen, we already changed it. It's not lying. Only the secret.
Oh yeah, your secrets. Okay. You can hold better secrets. All right. And so, you know, you said something earlier, and it had to do. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose it. But it's part of one of the questions on here. And so, here's a question, right? So you could answer, because I feel like questions can go both ways. They can go both for men and women, right? Because it's, again, about perspective, how you look at it. You can ask a question to a woman, but technically it could be the same question for a man, right? Because we go back and forth like, okay, well, like how this, women and men, loyal, not loyal, right? And so one of the questions is, all right, would you prefer on a first date, right? And this could go both ways, a guy or a girl, who's funny, practical, political, or poetic on a first date?
Oh, those are the options?
Yes.
Oh, funny. Without a funny. For me, funny, always. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Okay, so you wouldn't want like those deep, in-depth on a first date, like, are you trying to get married in 5 years?
Nah, keep it light. Always keep it light on the first date. Preferably, you can show a range of who you are in that first date. You can get your funny, you can get your deep stuff off, you can get your romantic stuff off. Don't bring no political stuff to your first, to like, not even your 20th date. Like, I can relax on that. Like, you ain't trying to talk politics, religion, or money on the first date. Those are, or like I said, even the 20th or 30th date. That's something that we don't talk about. But like I said, ideally, you'll get a range of all of those things on the first date, so you can really, gain some perspective of who that person is. But if I had to make a choice, it would have to be funny, man. I love a woman with a personality, so it would always have to be funny for me.
Okay.
Joe, what about you?
Both of y'all, little tag team there, huh?
Tag team once again. I'm
everybody wants somebody that can make them laugh. You know what I mean? Especially the climate that we're in. Like, everybody needs a laugh with everything that we all got going on. We need a laugh. Like, everybody's tired of political and politics. All of that separates people. But when you get down to, can you make me laugh? That's fantastic. We all need a good day.
Yes, definitely. I think that's great. Okay, here, guys, is a good question, right? And this can go both ways. So any of you on the lives, you guys can chime in on the live video because we read your comments, your answers, your questions, anything that you have. So don't be afraid to answer, comment down below so we can check that out as well. Okay, one of the questions was, do you think it's important, just as important to a guy or a girl, to know the opposite sex love language?
Let me answer that. Because I had to raise my hand. It's super important. It's super important. One of the things a lot of women miss out on is that they understand their love language, but they never understand a man's love language. Never even ask about a man's love language. And most men don't know their love languages. Ladies, if you're listening to me right now, I need you to look at the camera. Look, when you meet a man, have him take that test. And same for you. Retake that test. Like, we change. People change. Situations happen. Make us look differently. But yes, it's so important. And I think women miss out on that because women deal with a lot of men that they end up finding out are different than what they thought they were. It's because they never knew their love language.
Yes, Dre?
I mean, I agree. Yes, knowing the opposite sex's love language is very beneficial. Because I love to say, like I said, I don't know if Joe said this in a podcast or if I read it in a meme. It's like, what he said, you were her buying her like Louis Vuitton bags and buying her all these things, and all she wants is a hug. So because that's her love language is touch. It's not gifts. So you over here buying all these gifts, and you wasting your time because that's not her love language. And the same thing for men. Men have love languages, and like Joe said, if a man doesn't know his, women should encourage him to take that test so he can find out what his love language is. Because then we won't be wasting each other's time. Because a lot of the time.
Do you think that most men are not in tune or don't know what their love language is or what is a love language? And the reason why I asked that is because, I kind of asked around some guys. I work around a lot of guys, and a lot of them didn't even know what that was. They're like, what is a love language? And so why do you think, as men, it's hard to know about love languages or get in tune with love languages?
90% of men don't know their love language. I mean, it's not something that is talked about. Like, men don't focus on love like women focus love. Like, love for men is being a provider. Love for men is creating stability. That's what men think about what love is. And they rarely ever deal with who they are or their feelings. And I'm talking from experience. Me and Dre both, we weren't raised to love like that. We were raised to be providers. We were raised to make sure that there was stability in the home.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Like Joe said 90%. It's probably like 95% of men don't know their love language. It's never a discussion that me and my homeboys ever had, except for me and Joe. And that was just recently because we did a few episodes on relationships and stuff. So, but I've known my love language for the last probably 4 years, and it's only because I did a class in school that had us do a personality test, a love language test, all that good stuff. That's the only reason why I knew about that. But prior to basically 40 some odd years, I never knew what a love language was, and me and my homies never even spoke about it before.
Okay, so speaking of love languages, right? Do you think, and I know we're talking about like relationships, guys and girls, but do you think it's important to know people's love languages even as friends?
I do. I mean, it could help. Yes, it could help. Sure. I mean, but I don't know none of my friends' love languages.
What kind of friend are you, Dre? No, I'm just joking.
It was great. So I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary in that aspect, but I do think it could be beneficial for sure.
I think it could be a double-edged sword. I think it could be a hindrance. Our friends are so much of our influence that they can talk you out of relationships or talk you into doing things because they're like, oh girl, that's not your love language. You don't need that. No, don't do that. That's not your love language. You don't speak that love language. That sometimes it can be too much influence.
But why does it gotta be the girl? Why does it gotta be the girl influence?
Because we just said 95% of men don't be talking about that.
Drake, said it correct, Drake.
Because it is always your girls and your girlfriends. You know that. Come on now.
There's not no men over there.
No, we don't do all that stuff.
Melissa, I can speak for men and women, Melissa. Thank you. Don't hold me.
men generally ask only two questions. At least men in my circle. We only ask two questions. Does she look good and is she cool? That's it. That's all we ask.
Does she look? What if she doesn't look good but she's cool?
Nah.
No. Dang, they're gonna be coming for you now.
No,
come on, let's go.
Kidding,
I'm about to pick up this phone.
No, yo, she the keeper, man, because she cool. She got a personality, and she gonna hold things down for a minute.
Hey, man, I dated a girl that wasn't that attractive because she was cool, and she ended up being a cheater.
Well, because she knew that you were dissing her looks, so she was like, Okay, so there's some comments in here, and those of you watching on the live, you know that sometimes there's a delay, so if I don't see your comments, just put it in there again, because sometimes it just goes through quickly. But on here we have someone that says, I really think women are more loyal in the context of intimate relationships. What are your thoughts on that? And this is coming from another guy.
Yeah. I mean, you can say that, yes. Like you said, no, he's absolutely right. When it comes to intimate relationships, yes. I would say that women are more loyal as well. I would. Because normally, well, what's been normalized is the fact that men are the ones who do most of the cheating. But we also said that men are visual creatures as well. So sometimes our vision leads us astray. But yeah, so I could agree with that. I could agree with that statement for sure.
I agree, disagree. I think women are more intimate with their feelings. What we're finding out is women aren't asking men their feelings. No, they're worried about it. They're more concerned about a lot of what I'm learning about women. A lot of concern about how a man feels to make them feel better.
Okay, well, what if you do have women out there that do ask questions, right? Because that was one of the questions in here too. Why is it so hard to communicate? And I think that's for both sides, men and women, right? And so when women ask, how was your day? Ask your feelings, ask stuff, and you don't want to communicate, or men don't want to communicate. And it could be vice versa. The women don't want to communicate. But, in this sense, we're talking about the guys, why is it hard for men to share their feelings when it is asked?
You want to take it, Joe?
I mean, it's like speaking a foreign language, most of the time, men don't ask their feelings. I mean, you think about it. So these women are asking about how their day is and how their man is, but have they ever asked that to their brother or their father or their cousin? You know what I mean? It's like, it's never been an importance for men. It's when there's a hurting feeling that goes on that can be visually seen, people react on that for men. But when it's internally, nobody really checks on a man. A man has to show it before it's asked. So,
and a lot of it is that we're taught as men. We're not taught as men to communicate. We're taught to for lack of a better term, in the military is adapt and overcome. So we're taught to just handle the business, handle what the problem is, and get it over with and move forward. So, and like Joe said, it's not a conversation that you're really having as you're growing up as a young boy in the household. Your mom, your aunties, your sisters, no one's coming up to you and asking you, really asking you how your day is and what kind of problems or issues you've had. So men don't know how to verbally communicate that because it's foreign to them, for a lot of men.
Okay.
Especially older men. But I will say the younger men, like the ones that are coming up now, they do a good job at communicating their feelings and how they feel.
Is this the Gen Z? Gen Z, is that what we have?
Gen Z,
okay. What group are you in? What generation are you in? let me find out.
You said what generation are we in?
Yes, let me find out. Uh-oh.
Generation X, we in the building.
I'm in the nursing home generation.
That means somebody better come over with his Depends. Come on, somebody.
Oh my Lord, no.
That's how you emotionally take care of him, all right? Joe, he needs them diapers. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. So, ladies that are listening, right? Okay, here's one of the questions. And guys, chime in on this. You know, these are questions from other people as well. And it says, what is the most tantalizing thing a man can do for a woman that will just make her bells go up? And it could be the same question for men. You know, what is one of the most tantalizing things a woman can do for a man that will, you know, send off the ringing bells, like ding, 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 like make the whistles go off, the fireworks, and all the great stuff.
Well, Dr. Dre?
Hey man, listen.
Ding, ding, dong. Come on, Dre.
So what I found in just dating in general, women love the just cuz gestures, Like, in my opinion, there's nothing special about doing something for a woman on Valentine's. There's nothing special. Everybody gonna do something nice. Everybody taking their woman out, all that good stuff. I'm talking about, what is this? I'm talking about March the 8th on a Tuesday afternoon, you know, getting her some flowers, taking her out to dinner, getting dressed up, taking her out, things of that nature. That's the stuff that I feel that women, for one, lack, and for two, that's the things that they genuinely, truly appreciate. So if I'm being honest, the just cause gestures are the ones that get them the most. It's not a specific thing, like, you know.
Okay. What about you, Joe?
I mean, he said it right, man. Women like the idea and the thought put into things. You know what I mean? What's that meme going around? Don't text me what you're doing. Have a plane ready.
Right.
Bags and, you know.
Yeah.
So they like things that are thought out. Women like the idea.
Also gestures, yeah.
Yeah, they like the idea that you listen and that you care about what they have to say or what they do, and you implement that into practical and show them that, well, they get ecstatic and giddy and like, oh my God, girl.
Yeah.
Like, he can take me out. He got my bag ready. Oh my God.
Exactly.
And he brought my favorite J's. Okay. Okay, so here's a question, right? Because we are in such a social media world. We're just like this instant gratification. I feel like we're losing connection. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like we lose connection, not only just you know, in intimate relationships, but even in friendships in general. But do you prefer texting over calling, or do you prefer talking on the phone over texting? Dre's like, don't ask me that. Please do that.
Before you call me, you gotta ask yourself, is it textable? You know, first and foremost.
What does that even mean? Is it textable?
Like, before you call me, you be like, hey, y'all, listen, can I text this? No, but on the real though, no, I completely understand what you're saying, Melissa. People just don't know how to communicate no more, and like you said, social media has taken away the connection that we have, the human connection, the human touch. I prefer, if I could have it my way, I prefer all of my conversations to be in person, all of them. Like, I remember back in the day when we was growing up, the only time I would use a phone really was, of course, to talk to my girlfriend, but outside of that, it was just to say, hey, where we meeting up at? That was it. When we didn't have texts and cell phones, it was like, hey, okay, where we meeting up at? Because I'd rather have that personal connection with you in person and everything. So, I guess you could say texting, but I can do it all, man. I do it all. So, but 9 out of 10 times, man, if you're going to talk to me, you got to text me first, man.
So you're the type, like, someone texts you and then they call you and you're like, why are you calling me?
Yeah, I'll send straight to voice and text them, like, well, what's going on? You good? You good?
That's how I do Dre. Look, Dre will text me and I'm calling him. I can't stand. Texting is so. It's like it's so. It's not personal.
Yeah, impersonal. Yeah, that
Yeah,
be.
like, I'm a devil advocate person. Like, I like to create dialogue. So, if you're playing around with somebody, you're trying to be funny. Sometimes they don't take it as funny. They be like, well, you didn't put the LOL. Okay, well, skip that. I'm just gonna call you. I'm gonna text you.
No, and on the real, man, I guess the texting. The texting has gotten me in a lot of trouble with females.
Oh, come on, here we go. This is the juicy stuff. Tell us what that is, Dre.
Don't be sending the pictures out.
Nah, none of that, man.
See, Dre only asked for the pictures. He's not sending out the pictures.
Yeah, I ain't sending out no pictures, but no.
That's on his OnlyFans.
Yeah, none of that either. But no, only because I joke a lot and I talk slick a lot, and when it comes to texting, everything's about context. You know what I mean? And what context you're saying it in. And I'm rarely ever serious about anything, so I just keep going. I keep going, and women get offended, and they get offended a lot because I say a lot of stuff, and yeah, so. Call, man. Pick up the phone, call the person.
Now he wants you to call. Now he wants you to phone call.
That's it, man. Get on him. You've been getting on me this
Girls, you heard it. He said, no, I'm going to text you, okay? Now he's like, call me, girl. Call me. He tried to be smooth, all like, with his AQ. Come on,
It'd be too much
me,
problems, that's why, man. So, yeah, call. Especially when you're trying to get to know someone. Like, if it's someone you already know, then by all means, y'all know each other's personality. You're not going to get offended. Whatever the case may be. But if it's brand new, like doing all that talking via text could ruin it. It could ruin it before it starts because, like I said, I have a personality. I like to joke. I like to, just do what I do. And if females don't know me like that, then they're going to take offense to a lot of the things that I say, pretty much.
No, women be sending those boots. I can't read that, man.
Yeah, I can't read that either. Ladies, y'all gotta relax.
You be scrolling through your phone and be like,
no, I don't ever want to see that ever. Like,
when you see text message 1 of 2, you're like, what?
Yes, no, because it's like, no, that's a good point though, Joe. Ladies, I repeat, we are not reading your thesis statement via text. We're never doing that, your dissertation. We're not reading those things. We'll read like the first 3 sentences and like the last 2 sentences. And we'll pretty much sum up what you was talking about in the middle and then like shoot it back to you. We're not reading all that. We're not. Ever.
I'm calling you. Forget all of that.
Yeah, for real. And that's what I do. When I see that come through, I just pick up the phone like, I'll tell them, I didn't even read all that, but go ahead and tell me.
Like, girl, I did not read it, but you could yell at me right now and tell me.
Yeah, like, come on, I'm gonna read all that.
I've been dating librarians. I ain't trying to read that.
But the librarians are smart, aren't they?
They are.
Would you rather have a smart girl or a dumb girl?
Well, if I pick up the phone. That's what you're smart.
Okay, so we have texting and calling, right? What do you think of the video chatting?
That's paramount, yo. That's the one. When you first, like if you meet someone online or via social media, yeah, man, you can get off those first texts, those first phone calls. But for men, like I said, we're visual creatures. We want to know if that's really what you look like. There ain't no better indicator than a FaceTime or a video chat. Because then you really get to see the real, and it's like, oh, okay.
But what if you don't look like you in the video?
Again?
I said, what if it's you who don't look like you in the video?
Oh, I'm cool with that. I'm cool.
You're cool with that?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Joe, chime in.
just waiting for y'all to finish so I can keep
Like,
laughing.
I don't care.
Yeah, look, you're not gonna catch me.
Nah.
Look, we're gonna video chat. You're like, oh, I was in a robe with a bonnet on and perfect. Let's see it.
Yeah, exactly. See, another great point, Joe. Like, we try to catch y'all late night, early morning before you put on before you put your day on. We trying to see what you really look like. So yeah, that video chat is perfect. Perfect.
Dre watches Law and Order, and I used to watch Matlock. We investigate. We get down to the bottom.
Yes.
They're like, you know, the extended of a show that we all might have heard of. I'm not gonna say that show for copyright reasons, so we don't get plugged.
Right.
But you know what it is. You know, y'all sneaky people out there, sneakiness.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the questions, right, which I think is funny. So ladies, this is for you because this is one of the questions the guys ask. Do you hate doing laundry or cooking more? Ladies, chime in because that was one of the questions asked. And so, you know, there's some deep questions.
Well, first of all, whoever answered that question, you gotta relax, bro. Like, you can't relax, you know. That question is so sexist.
Yes, because this was, you know, because you guys asked the questions to the girls, right? So
Yeah, but come
we asked the
on,
questions to the guys, like if you could ask a lady anything, what would it be? And this was one of the questions.
Disrespectful.
Do you hate doing laundry or cooking more? This is coming from men, so
Yeah,
you may chime in.
don't answer that question, ladies. Like, don't dignify that, man.
Let me talk to this man, sir. Let me
talk to that man.
Yeah, he's probably watching right now, so you speak to him because he's on here. I can hear you logged in.
In this day and age, if you're worried about a woman doing laundry or cooking, man, you got a problem ahead of yourself. Like,
Yes.
what does that have anything to do with it?
That's what I'm saying. Like that, he got to be older. He got to be like 60.
Oh, he definitely not older.
He got a problem.
He like in the millennial age group here.
No, what do you like better? That's the best question he could come up with to a woman. And what do you hate more, cooking or cleaning? Like, first of all, okay, find you one, bro.
Sir, I want you to listen to Cup of Joe and Dre. There's 34 episodes out there. We're going to help you out, my friend. Because it seems like you need our personal touch. Your Uncle Joe is here for you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
User _167 tune in. I won't say it all, but you know, we're gonna add that in there. So today you can go link on their podcast. You can get some help out. The brothers here, the men here, the fellas here are gonna help you out because they say.
Yeah, we can be asking those questions in 2021, man.
All right.
Not that.
Okay, so here is a question also for the ladies, right? And men, you can chime in on this because, you know, it's interesting to hear everybody's point of views, what everyone has to think or say. This is a question from one of the men. It says, what is one thing that can really upset a woman from a simple thing or action the guy did not do? So do you get that a lot, men?
Oh, well, let's answer it. What? You're the woman here.
Well, you know, I don't know. See, I think I'm different from a lot of women because my questions are a lot different. Like, you know, a guy asked me one time, you know, for Valentine's Day, because you mentioned Valentine's Day earlier, like, do you want roses and chocolates and all this stuff? Like, what fancy dinner would you want to go to for Valentine's Day? I'm more of like, hey, you can pick me up. Let's go to Panda Express. Give me a Mountain Dew, and we can go home, and I'm cool with it. Watch movies. But I'm like, I guess, not the typical girl. So I know a lot of girls are more flowers, big gifts, okay, don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's nice to go to nice dinners, nice fancy places. But to me, it's not going to be one of those things that's like, you know, break it type of thing. Like, oh my gosh, he didn't take me here. That's more of like, to me, a special occasion, like your birthday or like, an anniversary or just because, it's not a requirement. I'm more of like, take me somewhere that I actually know I'm gonna like the food, stuff that I like. I'm not like an expensive person. Like, we could go just chill and hang out. So I think I'm a little bit different than most girls, because I know most girls that I know that are my friends like the bigger things, like the fancy restaurants, the flowers, the stuff that comes to your job, the stuff, all this. And I'm more like, oh, okay, cool. So that's kind of hard for me to answer, because
you go on the Panda Express now. Everybody's saying you Panda.
Yo, you can send some Panda Express gift cards to 10465 Melody Drive here in Northglenn. Attention Ignite with Melissa. And you can send it right over. Throw in your Mountain Dews, I'll take those too. But not till after April, after my diet is over, okay?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, by all means.
Have you ever asked a man out on a date?
No, I have not. That was actually a question that came up the other day. That's one of the questions in here. Okay, I'm going to ask this question. This is one of the questions the guys asked, right? He said, hold on, let me pull it up because I'm going to word it wrong like I always do. He says, in general now that women are more empowering, right? Like the equal rights, want, all this stuff. I'm probably saying it wrong. So how does that stir their thought on what men would generally do? Like the question you asked. So like, would they ask the guy out on a date? Would they pay for the first dates? Would they, open the door? Like all the things that the guys would normally do, would the girls do? That was one of the questions.
So would you do it?
Would I? No, I personally would not.
Let me tell you, can I speak? That independent thing is for like aesthetics. That's what looks. Like, I hear women that talk about like, yeah, I'm independent, or when I go on a date, I go Dutch, and I say, well, when's the last time you went Dutch with a man? Well, I haven't, but if it came up to it, I would do it.
Never.
Yeah.
No, I can't lie though, man. I've dated some pretty dope women, man, who have actually taken me on a few dates and stuff, for real. So
I think,
yeah.
I don't know, like if it comes to a first date, like I want the guy to ask me, right? Like I want to be pursued, okay? I want to know that you're into me, like you ain't looking this way, left or right. Like, girl, my eyes are on you. Okay. Like you're just too good to be true.
I'm glad you said that. I have another question for you.
Okay.
Do you feel like a man should give more starting off into the relationship or getting to know the woman than the woman? Or do you hold back, or do you feel like it should be equal of trying to get to know the person and showing interest?
I think it should be equal, and that's just my opinion. I think, I have like this thing that I follow nowadays,
Checklist?
A semi checklist. But it's more of like, and I mentioned this on your guys' live about having a 90-day period, right? No physical touch, no physical touch interaction, like anything, kissing, nothing. Because here's my thought on it, right? Because what if you end up just being really good friends with that person, right? You get to know somebody in those 90 days, like just like they know you or you know them. And it could be like, I don't like you in that way, but I think you're a really cool person. I want to be your friend. But I feel that once that physical touch comes in, you kind of ruin things, right? Because you're attached to them. One person might be attached, one might not be. And while if you remain friends and it didn't work out, you don't have any of that to worry about later on about like, oh, like, yeah, we kissed or we hooked up or whatever, because you got to learn. And after that 90 days, right, you get to choose, like, do you want to pursue this as a real relationship, getting to know each other, wanting to date, be in a relationship, or cool, are we both just mutually friends and hang out and we're cool from there? So I I feel like, there's just like this fine line. I don't know. You chime in. I see your thoughts running through. I see, your mind and wanders over there.
Fellas, if you've been friend zoned by Melissa, please. Right.
I never get none of that. Well, no. Boy, she's over there elaborating on how she friend zones people, and it's like, no, men ain't going for the friend zone.
A professional too. She was like, the 90-day rule because
it is. But let me tell you, right? Well, doesn't it make it awkward, right? If you hook up with somebody and then you guys didn't really know anything about each other, you decide you don't like each other. I don't know if you believe in soul ties. I believe in soul ties. You're connected with that person. Once you make that crossover, you're intimate with that person. You're connected to that person. Regardless if you say it with your mouth that you're not, you really are. Like, you are now connected with that person. And so if things don't work out, you were just a hookup, like, then it makes things awkward, right? So if you wanted to stay friends, you really can't stay friends. Or I don't know, maybe some people can. I know some people can't. I mean, that's a debate too. Can you stay friends with somebody that you used to date?
Yes, you can. You grown. Yes.
Right. It's awkward for women. It ain't awkward for men.
It ain't awkward for men. No, not at all. Yeah. But to your point though, Melissa, I think that's what leads to a lot of women developing like some hatred for men. That's what I was talking about the other day on our live, and because there's women out there with like 90-day rules, with 60-day rules and everything, because they feel like, oh, this guy's really, really invested in me. You know what I mean? And like you said, after that 60 or 90 days, like you said, you come to this thing like, you know what? This guy that made it 90 days with me, I really like him. He's really cool. Your feelings, meaning the woman's, is really invested into him. And all the while, he's just trying to be intimate with you and don't throw you away anyway on day 92. You know what I mean? But then it's like, oh, I hate men. Men is this, men is that. He could have just told me. But like I was saying the other day, if that's his sole objective anyway, then that's just his sole objective. Because you could be intimate with someone after a week and still hang out with them, still figure out that, hey, this might not be it. And still, this might not be it as far as us being in a relationship, but we could still be cool after that. I mean, like Joe said, that's normally if a guy, oh my God, if a guy and a woman, if a guy and a girl, oh my God,
Dre.
What's going on here?
That's a sign.
That's a sign right there.
What is going on?
I want you to get it out, Dre. I don't know what the woman is, but she's trying to stop you.
Yeah, so basically, that's a woman thing, man. That's guys don't really tie their feelings into things like that, off the rip like that. It's just like it's usually the woman's decision if they're going to remain friends or not, if they don't work out dating wise.
Okay, so here's a question that somebody asked. Is that really a healthy mindset, though?
Neither one is a mindset. So that 90-day rule is
crazy.
Well, here's the thing. I dislike it, but I like it. I like it because you're setting a standard for yourself and boundaries. And women have a problem of not keeping to their standards and boundaries. And in return, they get their feelings hurt because they don't keep to those standards and boundaries. But you can't live your life off a checklist. And then also what that checklist is too, a lot on that checklist better be like, don't be going on all of these dates. Don't be going on all of these movies. Don't be like really truly getting to know who this man is and that you're dealing with. Like women a lot of times will want to go on movies and dates and everything like that, but all of that stuff creates an environment to make you like somebody. Like if you go to a really, if you go to a really good movie with a man and he smells good and he shares popcorn and everything, you might think like, oh, I really like this guy. Or if you go to dinner with a man and the music's playing right and the waitress and y'all are talking about each other's meal, well, y'all are having a basic, simple conversation, but you think it's intimacy because of all of this mood setting and stuff. Like, I recommend to women really talk to men. Like what I deal with a woman before I meet her, before we go on a date and everything, I at least have a few conversations to even know if I want to sit down and have a meal with you.
Mm-hmm. That's real. I used to tell guys, I tell guys during the pandemic when we were locked down. I actually told men like, hey man, I remember when we first got locked down, I put it on my Facebook. I said, hey guys, this is the perfect time to start dating women because you can't all the restaurants are locked down. You ain't got nothing but the opportunity to get to know this person in front of you. You ain't got to spend no money on them, no nothing. It's the perfect time.
So, ladies, if Dre tried to hook up with you during the pandemic, here you go. This is why. He didn't want to take you out. He didn't want to spend no money on you.
That's right. Nah, we ain't going none of that. We're going to really get to know each other. Because if it's truly, and I say that's the thing, though, Melissa, if it's truly about women wanting a man and really wanting to get to know a man, it shouldn't be about his money and what he's going to spend on you or where he's going to take you for dinner. It should be about him, his character, and how he is as a man.
Yeah.
That's how I know, like, 70% of women be lying when it comes to that. No, they just want that whole, they want to be taken out, they want some money to be spent on them and all this stuff, and it's like, nah. They couldn't tell you 5 things about Dre after the date with Dre. You know why? Because they didn't even ask me nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They ask me, hey, how's the food? Is it good? What are you going to order? Like, that's what they ask. They don't ask me nothing about myself. They don't want to know nothing about me. So,
Yeah.
that's just how
Plus, men are big in investments, right? We like to invest in things that we see are going to mature or grow, right? So when you put this 90-day rule, be careful, because dude's going to be like, okay, day 89, I invested 89 days of dealing with Melissa. I dealt with her attitude. I dealt with paying a food bill. I dealt with paying a movie. I dealt with, you know what I mean? Like,
give her to a pack of Mountain Dew. Like,
yeah. Like,
well, you could have went to Costco and got it cheaper. I'm just saying.
So, look, Costco and Panda Express, we got it there.
Hey, it's not my fault you ain't frugal. Come on.
Yeah, and you're right. It's dangerous, man, because like you said, a guy, he putting in that amount of work, man, he wants return on, he wants ROI, he wants return on investment, man, and
Okay, well, let me ask you this then, right? Okay, so, if a woman has standards, you know, she has values, she has that, then why are women who have standards, values, you know, these certain things that they're not going to compromise on, then why do they become less attractive to men and you want more of the quicker thing per se?
They don't, that's a lie.
they don't.
The men that they want, it may come less attractive to, but it's not anything to do with men. The problem is that women get mad at themselves for breaking down a standard that they don't keep. Like, they don't get to know these men, and when they get into these situations, like, I can't believe I dealt with this man. Well, you didn't know him. You didn't take the time to get to know him, or you let go of your standards. You know, women believe in soul ties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Men don't talk about.
Do men not believe in it?
Men don't talk about soul ties.
Okay.
We're not about that. But, and it's okay that women are. I'm not saying it's not, but if you end up having sex with a man and you talk about soul ties and something doesn't work out, you can make it mad at that man for playing you or making you feel bad. But you also got to look at yourself and say, I have a standard that I set for myself that I broke because I was emotionally invested in wanting to be with this person.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay, Michelet says in here, to have self-care mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, physically, and financially. And to have wellness, wholeness, character, have good character. Let's see. There's a couple comments that I missed, guys. I can't see it on here. But, okay, so, yes, you know, we all have our differences, right? But let me ask you, though, okay, because I think it gets put on women a lot that the women are insecure if a guy has a friend that's a girl, right? Are we lying to say that guys are not insecure about a girl having a friend that's a guy, like all the time?
So I wanna answer this question and your previous question about the basically about the strong, independent woman, and then this question here about the men who has a girlfriend or a wife or a fiance and feels a certain way about her having male friends, right? I can't classify those dudes as men, man. Those are not men. Like, if you're a man, you're secure in who you are. Those are insecure men. I guess you could say that. Men who can't be with a woman because she's independent, or men who try to live by that double standard. Well, I got all of these homegirls, but nah, you're not allowed to have male friends. Like, nah, that's not how it works. I have a lot of homegirls, right? And I haven't given up any of them for any of the women that I've dated. And it was a problem for some women that I've dated, that I had so many homegirls. But I'm single now, and guess who's still here? My homegirls. So it's like, it is what it is, man. So we're not giving up friendships for relationships. Not me. I'm not ever doing it. Never gonna happen. Hear me, ladies? It's never gonna happen.
See, and I think, yeah, it's weird because I know, like, I had a friend, a guy best friend. We were friends for like 13 years. And, you know, he met a girl and they became serious, but the girl didn't like me for whatever reason. And, you know, he stopped that friendship. And at first, like, you know, I respected him, like, you know, we're not, and I think there's, like, those boundaries, again, like, you have to set boundaries. Like, of course, we're not going to go out and hang out all the time because you're with somebody. But, you know, he stopped that friendship. So, like, after 13 years of friendship, no longer because of this girl, and after 3 months, they were no longer together, you know, but he completely threw me off the grid. And for me, I was just like, okay, I'm done, because you threw 13 years of friendship away over somebody.
A 3-month relationship.
Yeah, a 3-month relationship. So
correct. Never gonna happen.
But I know there are some guys, though, that do have insecurities about, you know, women having friends that are guys.
Yeah, most of my homegirls men have insecurities about me.
Well, I mean, you're the model, Dre. Come on.
You're the model,
He's over there, like, let me video chat you, girl. Okay.
We're mom around here. But yeah, a lot of them. But it's been the case, man. But it's unfortunate. But it is what it is. I mean, that happens. Yes, so there is a lot of men out there who don't like their women to have male friends. And the only thing about it is, but Melissa, the reason why your friend's girl didn't like you is because you're an attractive woman. And the only reason why the men don't like me because I'm said to be an attractive man. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. For the less attractive people, it's not a problem for them. They'll pick and choose who their woman or man could be around. So if it's someone who's less attractive, they're not going to care because they're going to feel that person doesn't have a shot. You know, so it doesn't. So that's what it is. So.
Okay, good point. Okay, I know we're gonna run over a little bit, but you know, it's been such a good talk on relationships, and you know, tell us a little bit more about your podcast, A Cup of Joe with Dre, because you guys have a lot of good content on there. A lot of your different episodes, you know, like I listen, I follow you guys, and you know, let us know, like, what is your whole thought of your podcast? Like, what audience do you want to reach, or are you trying to reach? You know, and tell us a little bit about the topics that you pick, you know, and put out there.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we started the podcast, it was going to be about two single men talking about, like, life. But as me and Drake started really, like, talking and like figuring out what was our range or what our direction or what our demographic was, we was like, man, we are two men that have experienced life. We've been successful and we've struggled. So we know what the high looks like and we know what the low looks like. And regardless of your gender, regardless of what you've been through, regardless of your background, anybody understands what struggle is and everybody knows what success is. And so we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves. So basically, our podcast is about dialogue. We have conversations about depression. We have conversations with me and him both have suffered with, and being open and honest has helped people out. Neither one of us are gay, but we've reached out and heard from people in the LGBTQ community. yeah, it's just really learning ourselves, and as we do it, we start to grow. So, I mean, if anybody asks about our podcast, it's a podcast about two individuals that are creating dialogue and wanting to get to know people better as well as ourselves.
Right. So yeah, just to piggyback on that, I mean, we named it Cup of Joe with Dre because we literally feel like you could, put on your, grab your morning coffee or your afternoon coffee, whenever it is you have your coffee, and just listen to this conversation between Joe and myself, and really, really get sucked into it, man. Because it's like Joe said, it's for us, it's all about the dialogue. It doesn't matter what subject matter it is. We want people. You said, what's our target demographic? We don't have one. We just want all types of people from all walks of life to sit down and have a conversation. Because what ideally what Joe and I want is for us to start this dialogue, and we want y'all to go to your friends or to your dinner table, to your family, and continue to have this dialogue amongst everyone else. Because a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot of the things, but some of the things that Joe and I talk about is kind of taboo. Like men, we don't talk about them. First of all, men don't talk about anything. So just first and foremost,
true that.
Men don't talk about anything. But me and Joe, we're both men, obviously. So we talk about depression. We talk about some real heart-wrenching things that happen in relationship. We talk about our upbringing. We talk about racism. We talk about, like I said, we sat down with the LGBTQ T community as well. We like I said, we just want to push an open dialogue. We talk about relationships, and for some odd reason, man, that seems to be like the one that people gravitate to the most. But I understand, because a lot of our demographic is females, and they don't get to hear things from a male's perspective, even from their partners, so they come to us to hear it from our perspectives, and then they take it back to their partners, and then that creates dialogue for them, and they get to start asking them some questions about some things that they heard me and Joe say, or some things that me and Joe went through that they feel that their men can relate to. So it's just about creating dialogue. We want to reach out to any and everyone out there. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. It's a conversation amongst two guys, and like Joe said, it's real therapeutic for me to do these episodes, and to every time we put one out and listen back and we move forward. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and there's some great content on there, guys. You have to listen. These guys are funny. They're hilarious. And they always do a recap during the week live on Instagram, so you can always check that out as well. And go on their page and, join in the conversation like you are now on a live. And let me tell you, they don't hold back. So, so you want the truth, you're going to get the truth, okay?
That's for sure.
And,
the transparency is real. Yeah,
yes. And so, before we sign out here, we're a little over. But I just want to ask you both, we talk a lot about relationships today, but just even relationships in general, knowing your podcast, knowing how Ignite is, what is one thing that you guys have been encouraged, that's always stuck with you, that you could, share with our audience as well, that might bring them a word of encouragement, or, give them a little motivation? What is one thing that has always stuck with you from a mentor? It could be a quote, wherever it might have came from, that's always stuck with you that you would like to share with our audience.
You want to go, Joe?
Oh, man, look, she's
I got mine. So for me, it's always my elders have always told me to stay true to myself. If you stay true to yourself, you figure out who you are and what that looks like. There's only one of you. You're unique in your own sense. Stay true to yourself, and then everything around you will fall into place for the most part. That's. I know it sounds cliche, but it's some of the truest words that have ever been spoken to me. It's just like, yo, be yourself, man. I mean, because you want people around you. You want the people around you to like you for who you are, instead of who they think you are, or who they want you to be, or who they project you to be. And so that's that. And then I guess I would give some advice to just people who seeking out relationships or friendships in general. we have to do a better job at meeting people where they are now. We're not going to judge them by their past. We can't project what they're going to be in the future, but where they are today is how we need to start meeting people
So
and
good.
go from there. So
good.
That's that.
I would just say, if you were a book, what would this story say about your life? Like, we need to start talking and telling our lives. That's the problem with a lot of people in our community, our society. People have told stories for them. And when I looked at my life, everybody has told my story about me, but I never told my story. So we all have a chance to tell our story, tell who we are, tell what we're feeling, tell what we're going through, instead of hearing what everybody else has said. I know Dre, and I can speak for Dre. We've been told that we were losers. We were told that we weren't going to amount to things. We were told that we weren't going to be successful. We were told that, you were good at something this time and you're not that anymore. In a lot of ways, we were kind of both two people that were left behind. And now we get to tell our stories. Now we get to say that we're successful. Now that I get to say that I'm somebody. Now that I'm not my best, but if I can wake up tomorrow, I can correct those mistakes that I made in the past. So yeah, write your own story. Don't let anybody else tell your story. Start talking. Men, start talking to these women. Let them know what you're feeling. Women, make an opportunity to be heard. Don't wait for a man to make a room for you. Make your own room. Speak for yourself. Get your voice out. All of us need to start having dialogue and create dialogue instead of creating catastrophes.
So good, so good. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing, all your knowledge, all the fun stuff. You guys are always a blast to be around and hear and listen to. And so, before we sign out here, is there anything that you would like to say that maybe I've missed of asking you, or any shout outs you want to give before we head out?
No, shout out to my homie Joe. Shout out to my beautiful daughters, all three of y'all. Y'all know who you are. Shout out to our listeners, man, and shout out to you, Melissa. We really appreciate this opportunity you've given us, man, to broadcast our podcast and and our little skill set we might have as far as dating is concerned. But no, thank you for that, for real. We appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate you. That's for real.
Yeah, no, I appreciate, you appreciate not giving us this, definitely. It's a humbling experience to have somebody share their platform with us, because you don't have to do that. So that's nothing but respect.
Yes.
To our hometown, Colleen, shout out to them. Shout out to the people that love me. Shout out to the people that hate me. You all helped me grow into the man that I am. So, and that's it. Shout out to Drake. Shout out to my new bestie.
Besties, hey! So shout out to A Cup of Joe with Dre. Don't be, you ladies, be watching for those pictures. You ain't gotta go on no lunch dates yet, alright? Keep it clean out there, y'all. Make good choices. And so, as all of, I just want to thank all of you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for coming on here. I always feel honored and blessed when I get people to come on here, and I don't take it lightly, and I appreciate you guys. I love what you're doing. I love how you guys are in the community and sharing with the community and bringing everybody involved, so it's a good thing. And so thank you so much for being on here today. And for all of our listeners, as always, thank you for taking time out of your day, for listening in your cars, at your job. I know you listening at your job. Wherever you might be, thank you for tuning in here on KUHS Denver, the stream. And as always, if no one has told you today, I want to remind you that you have purpose, you are loved, and you belong. So yo boys right here, yo men, Cup of Joe with Dre signing out. Your girl signing out here on KUHS.
Gotta be
And you can get the merch. Check them out. Order your merch. Love, peace, and God bless you.